that many companies have divested in Nigerian economy is no longer news. The disturbing issues are, will Nigeria ever absorb the shocks of this company's exodus? Now, are there deliberate efforts towards making the companies come back? Now, for most part of last 20 years of Nigeria's democracy, there has been a near collapse of infrastructure. Many say there is a deliberate action by this administration to address this ugly trend. The development has been so bad that most businesses groan under intense pain due to overhead costs incurred in providing alternative infrastructure like power. Now, in fact, power has become an albatross to the nation's manufacturing sector. For instance, in 1999, manufacturing sector accounted for not less than 5% of the gross domestic product, GDP. This shrunk to 4.9% in the year 2000 as a result of high cost of production that results from inadequate infrastructure. The manufacturing capacity utilization remains on the downside. The manufacturing sector is further bogged down by massive decline in capacity utilization resulting from high exchange rates of the naira and congestion at the seaports. Prior to the financial meltdown in 2008-2009, the manufacturing sector had not fared better, largely due to lack of infrastructure and high production costs. The recent decision of some companies that had bases in Nigeria or have their bases and headquarters in Nigeria to relocate to countries like Ghana was another confirmation that the nation's industrial sector was still held in hostage. A survey conducted by the Bank of Ghana recently revealed that Nigeria was one of the 10 sources of foreign direct investment into the former Gold Coast. Nigeria placed ninth with a contribution of 2.1% investments in Ghana in 2007. Senior economist, SPM Professionals, Paul Alaje, joins me now from our Abuja studios for details on this discussion. Mr. Paul, it's great to have you join the show. It's good to see you.
Thank you so very much for having me.
Paul, let's start this way. We woke up this week, Monday, we were greeted by this news that Africa's largest retail chain, ShopRite, announced it's considering divesting from Nigeria. Now, ShopRite has more than 26 outlets across the country and employs about 2,000 employees who are 99% Nigerians. Now, let's look at this holistically. What does this mean for Nigeria when things like this start to happen?
Now, the first thing is ShopRite is not the first South African retail store to announce divestment from Nigeria. Mr. Prince has already closed 4 out of 5 retail outlets in Nigeria. Woodward is the second company that is owned by South Africa to announce the same departure from Nigerian soil. ShopRite is coming as the 3rd South African-based company to announce divestment from Nigeria. Why do we have all of these companies now? Perhaps 4 reasons. The most recent reason will be the pandemic and the lockdowns. Now, to put everything in perspective, in 2019, second half of the year report shows that ShopRite lost 8.1% of total revenue because of xenophobic attacks. That's rampage South Africa and the reprisal attack in Nigeria, which affected some of the stores. There were issues of looting both in South Africa and was also retaliated in some parts, pockets of areas in Nigeria. So South Africa has concerns. We also have the issue of lockdowns in the more recent time. Lockdowns and the pandemic has reduced the visit of customers by over 7% to ShopRite, according to the report that is available. So ShopRite perhaps is looking at the demand side, coupled with the current disposable income that is shrinking as we speak. So it's a bit worrisome for the organization to operate within the current reality and pandemic. Recall that during pandemic, many people would prefer to buy online, are patronizing many online stores, than going to a physical place to operate. These, among other reasons, apart from another one is border closure, some of the commodities that come from nearby manufacturers within African countries that would not necessarily go through the seaport, perhaps are not getting to Nigeria as at when due. So a number of reasons why ShopRite is considering divestment and selling its major stake out of Nigeria and perhaps to focus more in few other African countries, but most especially South Africa, the second largest economy in the continent.
Indeed, second largest economy after Nigeria. Now, a divestment is a corporate restructuring approach, usually a cash sale of assets or an entire subsidiary business unit by a parent company so as to realign the core business or strategy of the group of companies. Now, take us through what you think would happen if at the end of the day this is done. What effect will it really have on the Nigerian economy? I have seen reasons with the points you made, talking about the reasons, but what does this mean for Africa's most populous nation?
There are two possibilities. One, ShopRite may be lucky enough for Nigerians buyers to take over the business. Businesses that are thriving or individuals that are well-to-do may decide to buy ShopRite and take control. It's not going to be good news just for ShopRite. It will also be new news for over 99% of employees that are Nigerians. It's also good news for Nigerian government that collect taxes from ShopRite. But if it does not happen, and ShopRite has to close its store going the way of Mr. Prince that have closed 4 out of 5 outlets, I'm afraid we are faced with over 2,000 job losses. We are also faced with revenue losses, not just for ShopRite, but the Nigeria economy as well.
So this is one way or the other. This issue appears to be anchored on investment expectations.
Yes. It's solely going to be investment expectation. Unfortunately, ShopRite is not listed. If it were to be a listed company, exit strategy would have been much easier. But because ShopRite is not listed, a company with huge capacity, outlets spread different parts of Nigeria with meaningful supply chain strategy, strong supply chain strategy, and also use similar to what real estate operators are using. Perfect strategy. Unfortunately, we cannot control the pandemic. It's an exogenous variable. It's a stochastic variable of some sort that we cannot control this moment today. And the economy, our businesses must face the heat now, because I am sure in a short while the end may come. Whether ShopRite will be able to stand to the ends of time, honestly, it is the management that will be able to answer the question.
Indeed, it is the management that will be able to answer that question. Paul, reasons like non-profitability of existing business operations, companies' competitive advantage, and also maybe regulations induced divestments could be associated to some of these moves. Maybe change of existing regulatory frameworks, or do you just think it's because of the environment and COVID-19 that's responsible for this?
Yes, they are also inclusive. The truth is that we have more businesses that are thriving in Nigeria and are running retail outlets. Besides, immediately after we had the xenophobic attack, more Nigerians lost faith in patronizing South African-based businesses. We now see Nigerians with options, organizations with options such as ShopRite. We have a number of other Nigeria businesses that have seen ShopRite model, that have even developed better and smarter model than Nigerians are buying from. So there is competition, there is stiffer regulation by Nigerian authority to protect Nigerian businesses. These, of course, are responsible for some of the reasons, apart from the 4 reasons that have been mentioned above in the publication released by ShopRite earlier this week.
But Paul, let's also now take the angle of the ease of doing business and also investors' confidence. which remains very important at this time. We see what's happening even at the stock market, where this confidence is yet to return, despite efforts being made by government to even attract investment into the country. We see more portfolio investors just coming in to do what they want to do and move the monies. Quick, hot money. Now, when do you see Nigeria returning, or when do you see the entire African continent returning back to that investment hub that everyone would like to, bring in the money?
Yeah, first, when you look at ease of doing business, I think clearly Nigeria has improved from what we were about 5 years ago. That was about 146, move up 10 points to 136. We still have a lot to do. We have Rwanda topping Africa charts. We have India that have moved meaningfully about 30 points economy that is similar to ours. I believe authorities have adopted the right approach in looking at organization regulators such as NAFDAC. They've done the same with Corporate Affairs Commission. Registration of businesses now takes between 2 days to 1 week. Unlike what we had before, minimum of 1 month to 3 months. I am employing, Mr. President, and all meaningful persons in authority to consider adopting this same strategy in provision of electricity supply, also honoring contract, among others that are entailed on the ease of doing business. I know with that, with or without pandemic, ease of doing business could improve and coronavirus will not have impact on it. But where coronavirus may have impact is on investors' confidence. Recall that, and the way we attract foreign direct investment, recall that there is direct correlation between monetary policy rate and the kind of investment we attract in the economy. When it goes lower, it is expected that investment may also go lower. When it increases, it's also expected that investment may increase. This is one area that many people have not been linking. Because Monetary Policy Committee had reduced monetary policy rate from 13.5% to 12.5%, it is expected that we may not have the kind of investment we have in foreign direct investment terms, and see what we have now. Now, nothing is wrong with that because authority have growth in mind and growth forward, growth so that we grow out of the current economic quagmire that has been predicted by IMF, by World Bank, also by different authorities within the Nigerian state. So making monetary policy rate to go lower to 12.5%, I support it, I think is important. But it cannot be there forever because there comes a time when we need to boost our foreign reserve and foreign investment need to trickle in into the African economy, starting with Nigeria, one country after the other.
Paul, in all of this, let's look at this before you go. The interest of shareholders and stakeholders is also key in all of this. That a country is divesting or not divesting. How well would you say companies are following or doing well in this process?
It's a tough time for all companies. Small, micro, small, medium scale and large scale businesses together. And from what we have seen, most businesses that have declared their Q1 report, it still shows to a large extent, we can say the average has moved up, but H1, I beg your pardon, first half report card or result from different businesses have not been very encouraging, and that should be expected because pandemic showed up in Nigeria late February and it lasted. There was a lockdown throughout April, so that should be expected. But I can also say with the good news and the rate of recovery that we have recently witnessed in Nigeria and partial reduction in new cases in Nigeria, I only wish as a Nigerian people we will continue to sustain this tempo so that confidence improves in doing business, because the more Nigerian people and outside are willing to do businesses, the higher the rate of economic activity we will have, which will mean more businesses for those in business, more profit for them, more income for employees, and of course, a better economy for all of us. So my interest here is that we see Nigeria applying all those measures that have been given by NCDC and that of World Health Organization. We also are interested in seeing vaccine, if possible, come up on time and perhaps cure to the to coronavirus. So companies may see a nosedive right now. It is expected, just like we're expecting such with Nigeria. You saw how GDP growth fell from 2.27 to 1.87. We might see a further fall, but what is certain is that 2021, most companies will rebound. I am confident of that. Marks Q2 or Q3 2021, and Nigeria economy will also rebound by Q2 or Q3 2021. What we need to do is not to fight the reality. What we need to do is to sustain ourselves through to Q2 and Q3, and definitely we will see the light at the end of the tunnel.
Very, very, very good words, hopeful words there. Paul, before you go, in 60 seconds, the price of fuel is going close to 150 naira per litre now. And we know what's happening with purchasing power. We know what inflation is saying at the moment. In 60 seconds, what will Nigerians face in the coming months? Electricity tariff might also go up.
One thing you should expect is prices will go up. It will have impact on inflation. And we also have political statement to authority. I doubt if Nigerian government will be able to stand the pressure when this extends based on the revenue projection government is expecting. I doubt if Nigerian government will be able to come out of subsidy forever. Right now, we've seen it. This is still very early to predict if we're out of subsidy or not. President Obasanjo tried it. He caved in after a time and went back to subsidy regime. President Yar'Adua sustained subsidy regime. President Jonathan had announced in 2012 that he was going to take the bull by its horn, removing subsidy, but pressure of labor and indeed that of entire Nigerians overcome his decision. President Buhari wants to do the unthinkable by removing subsidy, which is the right thing in economic sense. But I doubt if the pressure of 200 million Nigerians will not supersede that of Mr. President. Whether I'm right or wrong, 6 months from now, I will meet you again on this show.
Paul Alade, indeed, we're going to meet again on this show and talk more about this. It's always a pleasure having you on the show, and it's great to see you. Thank you.